Let's
Yep.
get started today. I want to welcome our attendees. Thank you all for coming. Today's going to be really fun and a little bit different because we are actually going to do a live media training, and I'm super excited to see how this goes. Our expert PR guru today is Rivera of DCG Media Group. Of course, you all know her if you've been on our panels over the last year. And then we have two of our Fashion Mingle VIP members that we're featuring today who are actually going to be our guinea pigs. And Dee is going to do media training so that you can actually learn what you need to do to prepare for an interview with the media. So thank you everyone for coming. We'll go around and introduce ourselves formally. Melissa Shea, founder of Fashion Mingle. Kat, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi, I'm Catherine Schuler from Runway the Real Way, High Tech Motor, Regen Runway, Model Maker Mentors. I'm just super excited about this media training interview mastermind because it is really incredibly important. You get calls, you get elevator pitches. You need to be on your game at all times. It's not just to get a job, but it's to keep your brand active. And what would you say if somebody asked you about what you do and what you're up to? And it's never not needed. I mean, it's almost like a headshot. You need to have your sound bites and your pitch down, and just what you say about yourself is incredibly important. So I'm excited to see the guinea pigs and
grateful
in action.
Us.
Yeah,
right. So Shireen, how are you today?
Hi, Melissa. Hi, ladies. I'm so excited to be here. I'm Shireen, the founder of Rockamova Law. You can find me on Instagram at the Brand Law Mama, and I basically help professionals set up their businesses for success. And as Kat mentioned, one of the most important features of your business is being able to promote it. So I'm really excited about learning more about how to, how to promote ourselves and our businesses and get that pitch right, because it's incredibly important for every brand to know their pitch. And of course, I help you protect that brand as well. So looking forward to today's session.
And we have Dale from True Model Management. Hi, Dale. I see you're back in the office. That's exciting to see.
Today, full day, busy day at the office, and I'm very excited to be here. I agree with all of you that media training is so important, and Dee Rivera at DC Media Group is phenomenal. So she always has something interesting to share, and everyone can learn. So everyone, sharpen your pencils and start taking notes and practice. At True Model Management, we represent all sizes, shapes, ethnicities, all types of models. So if you ever need help with that, reach out to me. We put together events at True and help create content as well. We have a studio for photography and different things here. So I am looking forward to today and would love for Dee to take it away and meet all of our guests.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll have Jes and O introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about your businesses. Jes, would you like to go first?
Sure, I'd be happy to. My name is Jes Ruzic. I'm a certified personal stylist and an image consultant. I kind of work in three different areas of fashion. One is styling for New York Fashion Week, models, cover girls, runways, anything like that, red carpet events, as well as all of New York City photo shoots. I also have quite a nice list of clients that I work on. They're private businesses, private business women who have jobs that require extensive travel. Sometimes they have a team of people that help them, keep them in line. So I help business women kind of dress themselves for their day. And then I also do closet audits, wardrobing, and that is everything from doing a complete clean out to, discovering somebody's new style if they have a ton of clothes in their closet and have nothing to wear. So I do all three of those different avenues in fashion. I'm really excited to be here. This is the first time that I've been on the panel. I've been watching you guys for like a year and a half, and I'm so excited to be here today. I'm a little nervous, but I'm here to learn. I'm just going to be honest. I'm like, ooh, so I'm a little nervous, but I'm going to get through it. So I'm excited to be the guinea pig. Sure.
We
Thanks for having me, guys.
appreciate you volunteering.
You rock, Jess.
Yeah, we promise it's all in love, and our little community would never make anybody feel bad.
No.
Oh, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm O, and CEO of co-founder of the Ohzone, the fashion tech company. And thank you for having me on again. This is very timely for us because, I mean, I spent 30 years as an engineer, and part of selling myself or media training was never part of the engineering curriculum,
Like doctors
Right.
in addition.
Right. So it's so to have to also having to sell myself is something really new, because all my career I strive to to be recognized by my peer in a technical term, which is getting patents, getting recognized, but never to have to speak in front. And I realized that there is a actually just speak general about women, right? When we talk about women in tech, we expect them to be really professional. I mean, I wake up today, I'm really nervous, so be easy on me. I actually comb my hair before I get here twice. But to be a tech entrepreneur in the Silicon Valley, you think Birkenstock t-shirt, right? Barely brushing his hair and teeth. That's what you expect to be the Google guys, right? They never put a suit on, right?
Right.
But to be a woman in tech, where's your suit at? Where's it? You got to look good. You got, and my thought to that was, Mark Zuckerberg, his wife is Asian.
Mm-hmm.
And she had $1 billion, and she looks kind of okay, so take it easy on me. She had $1 billion and I only have $20 in my pocket. So put that in perspective, how much good looks do I have?
Well,
Right?
I think Dale can speak to our feelings of inclusivity for all shapes and sizes, and you don't have to look perfect to work in the fashion industry. That's just what it
helps.
That's the impression, but that's not true.
That's right. I'm looking forward to the day that I can have a peer-to-peer, like kind of like Uber. I would rent an actress. That's me. And I would share that among all the other people, right? I have first dib on Lucy Liu, like I said. So,
Who would play you?
you might play me in real life.
Dale will keep that in mind for you.
Thank you. Yeah, when you that's
for
right.
a model for you. Okay.
That's right. There's a second, secondary, actress market. Then could be a spokesperson.
Right. Yeah. Well, let's get started with our media training. I want to welcome Dee. Dee is the founder of DCG Media Group and DCG Public Relations. She's also the owner of Times Square Fashion Week, Hamptons Fashion Week, and Latinista.com. And Dee helps her clients get press. And one thing that I really admire about what she does is her ability to get local press, which is golden. And so I want to welcome you, Dee, today, and thank you for running this media training for us.
Thank you, Melissa. Melissa, can you hear me? Because I had to switch the computer.
Yeah, your
computer's having to hear me. Am I in real time?
Okay, now you sound better. Yeah, I think the connection was a little off.
Okay. So I don't look like I'm in Ocean, right?
Yeah, we are having trouble with your mic. It sounds like you have a bad connection.
Are you on Bluetooth?
Yeah. So Melissa, give
Yes,
me
sounds
2
good.
minutes. I'm gonna get on the other computer. Give me 2 minutes. If you can just
You actually
yeah, keep
sound
talking.
okay now. You actually sound okay now.
I do?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Okay, so I think
all right,
if you
because
go
my
with
other
it-
computer is so much better.
yeah, but if we do have, but I do have the guides, you know, the notes that you sent over. So if we do have a problem with you dropping out of your Wi-Fi, you know, I've got your notes that you sent me.
Yeah. So what I like to do is do a screen share if we can. Melissa, do you have, would you want me to do that?
You go ahead as long as we can hear you. The Wi-Fi is messing up again. Do
Okay.
you want to switch out to the other computer?
Yeah, let me switch out. I'm gonna switch out. Give
Yeah,
me
I'll go
1 minute.
ahead and,
I'm gonna switch out.
start with the with the topics that we had discussed. So the 5 things that we're going to talk about today, it's super important, is setting realistic expectations for a PR campaign. I know with Fashion Mingle, this is the biggest challenge that we face with our clients is, you know, what can you realistically expect when you start doing PR? And it's not much. But what you have to do is you have to understand that you have to build on PR. And then we're going to talk about what needs to be in your media kit. This is super important. I know a lot of people are really good at even putting the link to their media kit in their signature so that anybody has access to that. And you know, and always, like, one of my tips is, like, it needs to be on Dropbox, you know, because you don't want to send it as an attachment. It's going to be full of images, and it could actually even prevent your email getting through to a large company, because a lot of times large companies block any emails with attachments over 2 meg. So try to get used to putting things on Dropbox and just sending a Dropbox link.
So what should be on a media kit?
Well, we're going to have a list.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to just run through the 5 things we're going to talk about. We're also going to talk about how to choose the right media to reach out to book an interview. One of the things that are super, super important is do not waste your time targeting the wrong media. You need to know who you're targeting. You need to do the research on who are the type of journalists that write about your subject area, and who are the ones that are doing articles on businesses at your level. So, like, you know, you can't expect to get an article in the New York Times, you know, if you're a startup, you know, but you, at a certain level, you might get into Entrepreneur Magazine, you know, something like that. And then, of course, the media training today is really gonna, Dee's really gonna help us learn how to overcome the stage fright, the fear that everybody feels. Nobody's immune to that until you have a ton of experience, and maybe it's just like your thing. And then the final thing we're going to talk about is how, you know, once you get some PR, how to maximize it for full marketing value. And I honestly, this is something we're terrible at Fashion Mingle for ourselves. You know, we might get something and then the next day you're off to something else. And so you actually don't take the time to leverage the PR that you have created. So I'll get started with this is something I think, Jes, that you can help us with a lot, is what to wear at an interview. Because attire is extremely important for a media interview, whether it's going to be in a print publication, on a television segment. You have to understand what your attire, you know, should be based on the industry that you're in and the media publication that you're going to appear in. You want to make sure that what you're wearing is a flattering cut for your body shape, because how you look in the mirror at home is not how you're going to look once you have gotten that picture taken or the video, that kind of thing. That's super important. So, Jes, let's start with, I know you have probably had a lot of opportunities to work with clients who have had interviews coming up. So how do you help dress them?
Well, first I want to find out from them, what where are they headed? What do they want to do? Because I think how you're going to be dressing for the position that you're looking for definitely plays a part into it. You definitely want to be buttoned up, and certainly know the information about what who you're trying to connect with first. So for example, I think, I do dress a lot of speakers. I dress a lot of people who are interested in getting new jobs, all the people who are, interviewing. And I think wearing the right clothes, and you said it, Melissa, the right cut is really, really important, because again, different cuts and different fabrics are going to lay different ways. And, that's important. Shoes are important. Accessories are important. Things that actually represent your personal brand. So that's something that I'm really interested in, and making sure that people understand what is their personal brand, so that they can feel comfortable in their own skin. So with that personal brand, how do we go forward with getting dressed for the interview? Again, you're going to want to make sure that you are wearing, for women, it's traditionally going to be a gray colored suit. If you're looking for like a traditional job in an office, you're going to want to go with just a plain gray suit, maybe with a blue shirt underneath, minimal jewelry, minimal earrings, probably a smart, a nice watch, nothing too flashy, nothing too over the top, because you don't know who you're interviewing with and how they're going to perceive what you're wearing as being a little too much, or, so you want to make sure that you understate yourself as possible. Maybe you want to have like a really killer handbag. Like that's going to be your talking piece, so that when you walk in, somebody's going to notice your one piece and go, wow, I really like your handbag, or I really like your shoes, or I really like your necklace. You're going to have one thing that maybe they might compliment you on, and you can all of a sudden like kind of stir up a conversation, be like, oh, I got this in, Japan, or wherever you got the piece from. And it kind of creates just a very nice, like, introduction to, who you are and why you're wearing the clothes that you're wearing. I think making sure that you look on, you have to look at the people's profile pics on LinkedIn. You have to be able to see what's important to them. The people who are hiring you, look at what they're wearing on their social media pages. Find out what they're interested in, so you can always have a topic to talk about with them. I think, the feeling that you want to leave behind after the interview, that's the word I want to try and find, because then I can dress you for that. So if the word is, I want to leave them with their mouths open, like they're just like, holy cow, I just got, this was the best interview ever. Or is it like, that lady's so smart, or she's so powerful, or that, she's going to be a trailblazer? What's the word that you want them to think of you as you're leaving? And then that's how we dress you. And that's how we create that. And I also do a lot of like role playing and things like that. And I work with Dress for Success, which is a nonprofit organization to help women get back into the workforce and gain financial freedom. And with those ladies, it's the same thing. Try to be as understated as possible and have one talking piece. That's my advice.
Mm-hmm. Dee, I'm sure you've had to coach a lot of your clients. What are some of the biggest challenges you have with helping your clients dress correctly for an interview? There you go.
Oh, here I am. Yay. I think everything Jessica said is on point. I do think that you should practice with different outfits and take photos of yourself. I always tell my clients to do that. Pop colors are great for TV. However, do not wear anything that's glaring in the camera, or it's going to make you look like it's just too loud. But I always say I have two outfits ready. I personally have practices on myself. So what I do, I give to my clients. I say, take a lot of pictures, and, they usually send it to me, and I'll say, okay, this works, this doesn't work. For men, it's different than women, right? Because women have to include hair, makeup, jewelry, clothes, like nails, like it's like a whole thing. For guys, it's like brush your teeth, brush your hair, get a nice tie, get a nice shirt, get a nice blazer. For us, it's all encompassed, right? So I think for women, and you have to know your personal style. So what's your style might be different than my style. Like what O is a high tech, computer guru. So she might have a different style. One thing that I do want to say to her point, she says something about Mark Zuckerberg's wife is plain Jane, and she doesn't. Well, you know what? Here's what I say, ladies. When you have $1 billion, no one will care what you wear. Right now, we don't have $1 billion, so you got to look like $1 billion
Totally.
so that you can get the $1 billion.
Well, it's kind of just to give you, you know, I was a principal engineer at and I in charge of hiring people, right? I have to say that, you know, there are certain things about engineers and scientists that if you were to, you know, go for those type of job, technical job, first thing is do not wear any perfume. Most of people I work with MIT and Carnegie Mellon. These guys are OCDs. They don't want to smell anything. You know, I mean, and women and then do not do nails. Do not do nails, because the minute I see that you have long nails, you're not a typer. You're
right.
not.
But we're
Okay,
not
do you see
talking
these
about.
nails? Do you see these nails?
Uh-huh.
I am a typer. I am on the computer all day.
Right.
I am multitasker. Not
But
everybody
we're
can do that.
talking.
That is correct.
Right. But I'm just saying that
But we're
as a
not talking about work. We're talking about an interview with the
Correct.
media. So if
let's
you
go
were,
for that.
if you were talking, if you were getting interviewed by a television station or by the editor of Refinery 29, something like that, it's a completely different situation.
Correct.
Perfume might be nice, but
Right.
I'll let Dee tell us. Is that
Yes. So here's the preparation process, okay? I'm going to give you from A to Z.
okay?
Just from my personal experience and from what I see my clients. You have to prepare. I would say a week of preparation.
I would say even more. I would actually even challenge that to say even more, because like I said, you have to do some digging. You have to do some research. You may have to do some shopping. You might have to get your hair done. You might have to get your nails done. So this is all the preparation that we're doing just for one day. So I would even go longer than that and say, man, give yourself 2 weeks.
Well,
I need a month.
I would say.
I need a month.
Here's what I would say. I don't have to do that kind of preparation because I've done it for so long.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, to your point, if someone has never been on TV, has never done an online interview with a media station, then yes, I wouldn't say 2 weeks. I'd say a month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would think a month.
Because you have to prepare your talking points.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing. You have to prepare what kind of questions they're going to ask you. Part 2, you got to prepare your hairstyle. What's going to be a great hairstyle for you? Go to the beauty parlor, go to the salon. You have to set up your appointments. I say makeup. You know, you don't want to look too loud. Mm-hmm. You don't want to look like you're going to like the club. You do want to look, you know, aesthetically, you know, clean makeup is always perfect. However, I will say, you know, it would be great if you can get a makeup artist to help you with your makeup, because what you have on TV is very different than when you have on a day-to-day. When you're on TV, you have to put so much makeup just to look normal, because one, it's high definition, the lighting washes you out. So you have to practice with a lot of light so you could see what you're going to look like in front of a camera. So that's another thing. It's what your makeup is going to look like. Mm-hmm. 3, what are your outfits? To Jessica's point, I would say practice with a bunch of different outfits. If you need to go shopping, do that. But pick 2 great outfits, take a picture, see what you're going to look like. And if you don't have like good judgment with things like that, talk to somebody, you know, who is a professional, who, you know, you could also talk to Jessica or a stylist or somebody who's a fashionista who could say, hey, I love that look. I think you should stick with that. You should always bring 2 outfits with you when you're in studio. Why? Because something is always going to happen. I kid you not. Like recently, I just did a show for Lifestyle Today for Latinista must-haves. And, you know, everything was COVID compliant, and the dressing room could only have a certain amount of people. And so thank God I came dressed I came with the foundation, which is what? My makeup, my hair, I had rollers, my makeup, my hair, and all I had to do is do my touch up, which I knew how to do because I couldn't have my makeup artist, my assistant needed to be there. But anyway, to make a long story short, you need to always be prepared, like start thinking, because sometimes when you're in a studio, and now more and more studios are opening up to have people come in and interview, you have to be prepared for anything. So I always say, come with the foundation of your makeup ready. And then when you get to the studio, you touch up, because that way you don't feel rushed. You don't feel like, oh my God, because you're already nervous because you're trying to figure out your script, your talking points, your 5-minute elevator pitch. So it's important that you do, if this is your first time, to prepare a month in advance, not 2 weeks. If you're already done this, been there, done that, to me, it takes a week, 2 weeks, but you have to prepare, even if you've done this regularly. Now, another thing, you see what happened with my computer? Big no. So I would say make sure your computer's charged, the lighting, if you're going to do a Zoom interview, because a lot of my clients have done that. They've done major interviews on Zoom. So we have to make sure the sound check is correct, the lighting is correct. And it's easier when you're at home because you could be dressed here. You don't have to worry about the shoes. You don't have to worry about the bottom of what you're wearing. But again, you have to prepare. You have to make sure the lighting, the background, everything is set. So when you're interviewing online, you are ready. So again, I would have these points. 1, makeup, test your makeup and know what you're gonna have aesthetically. 2, your hair, figure out how your hair is gonna look. 3, your outfits, testing your outfits, seeing what looks good on TV. A pop color is always great. There's certain things. So here's another trick. On TV, you will gain 15 to 20 pounds on TV, okay? So if you're a 6, you'll look like a 10. So what do? I have tricks. I call it color blocking. What does that mean? There's certain things that you can make yourself honestly look much smaller if you know what colors to block in the bottom from the top, right? And then there's certain things that your neck, like I do this online, but I wouldn't do this on TV. Why? Because on TV, I'm gonna look like I have no neck. So I would wear something maybe longer, not this, okay? However, you work with color blocking, and again, you would need somebody professional like a Jessica or a stylist, or when you go to a department store, they usually have a fashion stylist or a shopper who can help you know how to color block. And again, you take pictures, because if let's say you are voluptuous, you want to make sure that maybe there's certain things that make you look a little slimmer on the top than on the bottom. Also makeup can make you look slimmer, like contouring, you contour certain features, your lips a little, because you want to just make sure aesthetically everything, I always say first impressions are last. So when you're doing your first TV interview, you want to be like, bam, like they want you back, because that's what's gonna make them want you to come back. Preparation. Yeah. That you look the part, you speak the part, you're clear, you're engaging, boom, they will want you to come back. So
Dee, I want to add something to that. And that's something that I tell my clients as well, when because you're right, TV is totally different than it is, and which is different than Zoom, which is different than in person. So it's all different. But when I tell people who are going to be doing a show on TV or a segment, something like that, I say, look at what the people on the news are wearing right now. See how the people are dressed for the news, because they're polished and professional. They know exactly what colors and cuts they should or shouldn't be wearing. So watch the people on the news, whether that's Fox News or CNN, doesn't matter. Find somebody, even if it's a local person, that you're like, oh, I really like the way she dresses. You'll notice that those people on TV, the the media people, the news people, they have it down perfectly.
Right. And also, Jessica, one of the things that I noticed, you could tell in a morning show when somebody has an off an off moment in wardrobe. So I don't always go by TV. I always go by what looks good on TV, because there are some people that I've seen, and I'm not going to mention who they are. I'm like, who the hell dressed them up, and who did their hair, and who did? Yeah. I'm like, I once wrote to Wendy Williams, who I love and know, said, Wendy, stick to this hairstyle, not to the other one, because it's not working. I know you love it. It might have looked good in the mirror, but it doesn't look good on TV. And so you got to know what's going to look good on TV. And, Kat just mentioned on the chat about pop color. Now, pop color, yes, means a lot of different things. Now, sometimes a pop color could be an intermix of a bright, but a more subtle color. Again, you have to take pictures. You got to know what looks good and what's going to work for TV. So when you look at GMA or The View, sometimes, the women are the wardrobe, and now they're zooming, so you really can't see the whole thing. But when they used to do like the whole TV thing, you could tell that there were some moments where it was like, wow, look at that outfit. And there's some moments you're like, whoa, what happened? Yeah. So I say practice a lot with colors, what colors look good on you, what colors don't, and color blocking if you want to contour your body.
Okay, those are all great tips. I'm so glad we went over that in such detail. So once you get the opportunity, you get the interview, whether it's a live interview or you're getting something in, in a magazine or a website, how should we set our expectations for how that's going to translate to help our business?
Okay, so just really quick, Melissa, when you're doing a magazine, you have more control of the look, the feel, and how you're going to come across. Whereas when you're on live TV, you get one shot, and whatever is put out there, that's it. So just FYI, when you're in a magazine, you could control what you're going to look like. Everything is tested, A/B testing. But when you're going to be on live, just so you just get one shot. So you have to be prepared. So once you, let's say, get that media interview, whether it's in a magazine, major magazine, or in a morning show, I say pre-promote, promote, and post-promote. What does that mean? What I do for my clients is I always take a picture of their best headshot, and I create like a media tour, kind of like, hey, so-and-so is doing a media tour. I put the station's logo, I put the date when they're going to be on it, I put the time, and then I promote that prior to the interview on social media, on LinkedIn. Why? Because what's really important is that when a producer sees that you're doing that you're pre-promoting, because what's their biggest thing? They want traffic, they want an audience. So if you're pre-promoting and then tagging your friends to promote you and see you, that's always great, because the more traffic they get and they see, wow, there was some really good engagement with this guest, they'll want you back. Two, that's very key. Two is during the show, during whatever, I always say have someone, if you can bring somebody to take shots like behind the camera while you're doing the interview, because that's always great for your website. That's always great for your social media. And it's always great for content, because you want to have as much content that, wow, this girl has been on TV. This guy has been on TV. This girl has been on a magazine, that's very important. Also,
can I say one thing about those photos? Make sure you bring somebody who actually knows how to take a good picture.
Yes.
I've handed my phone to someone and say, take pictures of me doing this. And the pictures are completely unusable because they're terrible at taking pictures. So test that in advance.
I agree 100%, Melissa, because I did my Latinista must-haves last week, 2 weeks ago. I bought somebody, she thought they looked good. I looked like an Oompa Loompa. Like, I was like, oh my God, you did not get my good side. you're not getting my angle. Like, you know, you got to know your angle also. Like I am a true believer. Everybody has a good side.
Okay.
So know what your good side is, and always make sure if you're going to do a TV interview, know your good side, because you want to be on that side when you get interviewed. There's always an angle, because not everybody's asymmetrical. Okay.
So if you have a good side and like the chair is on the wrong side, will they move it for you?
I've made them move it. I've done that. I have told the guests,
I can totally see you making them move it. I'm
well,
not sure
I do
can
it very
make them move
nicely.
it.
You know, I don't go in there with a diva attitude. I just say, hey, by the way, you know, we all have our good sides, and you seem to have both sides. I don't. Would you mind if I get this side? And they're like, oh, they're usually very accommodating. If they're not, there's a way to sit where you could have your good side. So that's another,
Okay.
we'll talk about that later.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So so let's say it goes live. You ask the producer, okay, when is this going live? When is it going to be on a TV, or when is it, you know, you try to find out the date, and then you do a promotion, premiering, airing at blah, blah, blah. And you put that on your social media as well. And honestly, I dare say make a press release to put it out there and, you know, distribute it to a bunch of different platforms. Because again, that helps with your Google search engine. That helps with people finding you. That helps with people knowing that you're an expert in your field. I think that's important. And then once it's live and out there, I know this is a lot of promotion, but guys, this is how it works, because it gets you out there. You need to put it on LinkedIn. You need to put it on your LinkedIn profile, because a lot of TV producers sometimes try to look for guest expert. You save the links, because you want to have all those links or maybe if it's one link that you've landed an interview, you want to send that to other producers. Why? Because people like to see, oh, she's been on TV already. They usually don't like to deal, not that they don't deal with amateurs, but you really got to prove yourself that you're not going to freak out in front of a TV interview. So, and that's another thing. How do you land that TV interview if you've never been on TV? I always say doing things like this. I always say doing a Zoom, you know, a webinar where people can see your speaking skills, how you are in the camera, how you engage with the audience. All those things are important, because I think that will land you on a TV network or interview.
Okay. So finding opportunities to do interviews over Zoom, like say, you know, say, Melissa, I want to be an expert on your mastermind. And that's a good way for you to get like a little piece of PR that you could then use when you send out to producers.
Correct. Like, I think using these kind of links, using these kind of opportunities can get you and land you on a TV major interview. Or what I would also recommend is you creating your own audience. What does that mean? Create a Zoom. Like, let's say for Jessica, she's a stylist. She talks about fashion. She talks about trends. So if I was her, I would create a whole webinar on how to dress, you know, best summer trends during COVID, blah, 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 right? And she has like hangers in back. She's showing people. And then she pitches that to a producer. You know what I mean? That's how you do it. Or like Shirin. Shirin is a brand lawyer. You know, she's like the next Olivia Pope in branding. So what do? You know, she could do her own Zoom on, you know, how to brand yourself and what experts are looking for, you know, during, you know, how to rebrand yourself during COVID. You, Melissa, you know, from geek to glam, how you became you know, a geek in tech, and now you're into the fashion industry. You know, there's so many ways to do it where you'll use this platform to create kind of your own little mini TV, you know, it's kind of like how actors do when they do their reels, same thing.
Okay. You know, another suggestion, I just want to let everybody know that this is so easy and possible now. You can go to Amazon and get a green screen, really cheap, You can get a light kit, you know, like stand-up lights that'll, you know, give you good lighting, really cheap. You can get a tripod that you can put your phone on. You can get remote control, you know, like a little remote control to turn on your phone to start recording you. So then you could, like, in the privacy of your own home, film, you know, you doing a presentation as long as it takes, you know, especially if you wanted something where you had more of a full length type of thing. And then with the green screen, then you can go to any stock photo site and just type in, you know, like room backgrounds or even Zoom. They now do like Zoom backgrounds, and just get an image to pull it in that matches. Like if you want it to be an office scene, or you want it to be, you know, like a loft scene or something like that.
Yeah. So all those are very key, Melissa. And also, you know, there's spaces that you, like Dale has an amazing space that you could rent from her, and you could create, you know, she has like the backdrop, she has everything. She has small studios, big studios. So reach out to Dale at True Model Management, and rent the studio from her for a couple hours just to shoot some snippets of yourself.
I would like to rent the spot she's in right now.
I know.
Cool.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I think you guys should just go ahead and take a photo of your office and then just send it to me. I think I'll trade it. I'll take a picture of my scan station and you can put it in there.
Yes. So whether you're an expert in fashion, beauty, law, finance, whatever it is, all these points that we're sharing are all applicable, because TV is what it is, you know, that's what they look for. Whether it's a Zoom interview or in studio, all these things are very important.
So let's talk about the media kit. Like, let's talk about from the perspective of, like, if you're just a business starting out, you know, what could you put in your media kit if you don't have much media to put in it?
So I think for a media kit, here's what I would do. Media kit 101, because that's another class, right? But here's how I would do it. You need to have an amazing headshot. You need to have a great bio that people will want you to be on, either an interview on a magazine or interview on a TV segment. To create content, what does that mean? For example, Melissa, let's say you've done a lot of these masterminds. So you put all that in a slide, like speaker, host, and then you put like photos of different things that you've done. The parties that you've curated, you put that, like, people need to know that you've been in front of an audience, you're social, and you know how to speak. Okay. And then what I would also do is create, again, these kind of panels by yourself where people could see, oh, she's done this or that. You know, there's a way that a graphic designer could create it. Not that you're lying, but that you have spoken in front of an audience. You have, you know, you're an expert in your field. And then something that always producers look for is, when you're doing your media kit, you know, me as a publicist, I do the producer's job. What does that mean? Because I try to make it easier for them so that they could book my client. I pitch topics. I pitch talking points. I pitch segments that they've never heard. I mean, I'm going to be honest. You have to be careful. So I won't put all my ideas out there, because they do steal ideas. It's happened to me so many times. The producer will take your topic and then they'll book another host.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, it's been done many times. So you just want to, what I would do is, I would say, you know, Melissa has spoken about boom, 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 boom. And, you know, maybe do like a small little video on the topic so that people can see, oh, okay, this is what she does. Because I think that'll lock it down more than just pitching the topic with the talking points and then they take it and give it to someone else.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So I think that's important. Like the producer, it's like a no-brainer for them. Like I have a client that had been trying to book for Pix 11 during COVID, and all Pix 11 was talking about is COVID, 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 COVID. And I knew the producer for years. Like we have a relationship, and it was hard to book. So I had to keep pitching like crazy ideas, and they finally booked it. And so, you know, don't get discouraged when you feel like you're pitching, and they're not responding. They will. I also you know, I have a list of contacts, but I contact producers on LinkedIn all the time, and they usually respond to me. So that's another way.
That's great.
But it's always good to have me who has the relationship.
Absolutely. That's the, if you really want to get to the PR faster, definitely hire the professional.
Yeah, because you know, I built these relationships for so many years. So
right. Let's talk about that, because that choosing the right media to reach out to, I think is one of the things that, like, if you are not in the PR field, you might have zero idea of where to go. So Dee, how do you choose? Like maybe like why don't we use O as an example here?
That's why I'm here. Yeah.
She has created this 3D scanning software for the fashion industry, virtual showrooms, virtual e-commerce solutions to really help the fashion designers sell, and also it has a very strong ability for, you know, in sustainable fashion areas, because it saves on waste with sampling and also with inventory. So tell us where you think the best pitch, like what kind of media outlets would you go to pitch O?
Oh,
Okay.
wait, 1 second. This is actually a, sorry to interrupt, but now that it's my turn to ask the question, this is very timely. Thank you, Melissa and Dee, to be on it. We just got awarded the top 10 fashion tech from Retail Tech Insider, and we actually will feature on the apparel resources.
Wow.
And we're gonna get interviewed by Interline for 3D technology. And we are actually on a second time, we're actually top 200. We make top 200 list for Tommy Hilfiger Fashion Challenge, Frontier Fashion Challenge. And we are presented, we are in NVIDIA GTC 2021, the second time on 3D fashion, Save the Planet. So now I have to figure out how to do press release.
Right.
Right.
So
and
all that is made public, correct?
Yes, except for the retail tech, it's just being announced. Yeah.
So anything that is made public by these companies that you mentioned, yes, I would do a press release, and I would put it out there, you know, kind of position yourself that you're doing X, Y, Z, and put it out there. And then what I would do is pitch to magazines like Refinery 29, Women's Wear Daily, Vogue, because here's the thing, retail, as you know, through all these masterminds, has changed. Like there's no going back. And so you are somebody who is a trendsetter, trailblazer. You're trying to kind of create innovations, new ways to get not only fashion out there, but you know, you could use it for retail. And what better way to talk about the next best, you know, the next big thing in retail, the next big thing in fashion. And you know, it would need to be a press release that positions you as like the next Elon Musk or something for fashion. You know what I mean? So that's how you would position yourself to get you on TV. Now, I do want to say this really quick. If you are not the type to be on TV, if you feel like, you know what, I'm more behind the scenes, then you get a great spokesperson. because you only have one shot. And if you are not someone that's used to, you know, I always say get the media training first. And what I mean by that is practice a lot like this before you get on TV. Because if you get on TV and you suck, they're never going to ask you back.
I really sucked. I know.
So what I would recommend is if you get a spokesperson or a spokesmodel, you could ask Dale. She reps them, and you have somebody that makes you look like, whoa, and you're the brain behind it. Like you could be on TV with your spokesperson because you're the brains and they're the other elements, right?
The communication part.
Right, because that's very important. I've had to do that with clients where there's a spokesperson and then there's the CEO, and they're both on TV.
That's
I see.
So
maybe I can get my digital twin as a spokesperson.
Yeah, you need somebody. You may need somebody until you feel comfortable.
Right. So you would reach out to like Refinery, Vogue, and what about the like sourcing journal? Do you think that those
I mean, there's a list of things that and you could email me and I'll share that with you because you only have a few minutes. But I would say if you're not comfortable in front of a TV or whatever, I would say get a spokesperson.
Okay. Jes, what's the next thing that you're wanting to do with your business that you really need some PR for to get you to the next level?
Well, I've been working with Kat on a lot of different projects, and she's been amazing with helping me kind of grease the rails, so to speak, and meet some new connections and stuff like that. So for me, I mean, I'm really riding on her coattails, and I am looking to her as a mentor, because I think that's, a lot of what we need as we're going through this and we're like, I don't really know what I'm doing. Like, see somebody who's already kind of trailblazed before you and just kind of follow their path, follow in their steps, and they'll take you under their wing and support you. And as Kat has done, unfortunately, she just stopped off the call. But, I think that what's up for me is I want to keep doing more New York City events. I mean, my business really started to take off right as COVID hit. And, for me being in people's spaces, in their homes, in their closets, it was, I took a big hit from that. So it was really nice to then work, we worked with CoverGirl and doing that with you, Melissa and Dee, like these kinds of things that I want to just keep adding to my resume. That's really it. I just want to show that I have a round, background of everything from, CoverGirl and Fashion Week and red carpet, all the way to a stay-at-home mom who just wants to get out of her yoga pants. So I want to make sure that I cover them all.
But Dee, do you
Jes has had some Fashion Week experiences that she can document and has some media, have pictures for or whatever. So then I think what you're saying, Jes, is what you want to get to is you want to get more jobs at Fashion Week.
Correct.
But how do we raise? So Dee, how would she raise her visibility? Is there any way other than just like posting on social media? Can you think of any ways she could get some media attention for the work that she's done?
Yeah, what I would recommend for you, Jes, is you need to do a media kit, like Melissa had mentioned, of all the different shows, who you dressed, if there was any kind of celebrity, like for example, when you did the CoverGirl event, you did Urbana, so you can call yourself a celebrity stylist. And then wow,
I never did that before. Thanks.
Yay, Jes is officially a celebrity stylist. Woo!
Yeah, celebrity stylist is gearing up for Fashion Week, and here are her recommendations and tips on what to wear. And I would create a press release like that, put it out, distribute it. You could go on PR Wire, PR Newswire, or hire someone like me, and then create that, put it out there. At least you have all of that in online and search engines. And then I would reach out to different production companies or PR companies and say, hey, I love to style your lookbook, or I love to style your next production, or I love to do a panel with your designer, you know, like a Q&A. There's so many opportunities out there.
Well,
you
I'm going to be calling you up very soon.
Right. What about styling some of the digital twin model that I have, like my interns?
Yeah,
You
there
can
you
be the
go.
first, you know, I'm actually thinking about doing the first digital only lingerie store. Like I sell a digital version of that and NFTs. You know, these things are going $10,000. You can do like the first, just digital only. There's no real, I mean,
There you go. So there you
Right.
go, Jess. You just got your first
digital client right
and
here.
that's another thing you could add to your press release, like, you know, Jessica, celebrity stylist, dress a digital avatar. You know, that's a whole nother ball of wax, which a lot of people are not doing.
Yeah.
Right.
So speaking of the digital avatars, so Dale, so what you're doing, I mean, you work with stylists all the time because your stylists work with your models. Can you give us any insight or like where there might be some opportunities for Jess?
Absolutely. I mean, you can reach out to me individually. You should be meeting photographers and creative directors, and Fashion Mingle is a great platform to look for definitely people in the industry who can help. And as Dee said, if you have one celebrity that you styled so far, definitely keep in touch with that celebrity and try and build on that and maybe do another one. And then like once another celebrities have friends, it's like, oh, she did such a great job on me. I mean, I have all been for relationship building, and if you can get referrals word of mouth on top of everything Dee and Melissa and everyone on this panel has been giving great advice. But, you know, be true to yourself. And when you're with these people all the time, you know, talk to them about everything that you do, and you give so much of yourself. There's definitely more to go around that you can share with other people and help them look better. I know when Dee was talking before about dressing, and you were also just keep in mind the accessories, like when you're on TV and or even in person on Zoom, you don't want things clanking around, you know, and being loud and wearing bangles and things. So there's certain things that the do's and don'ts, which you're telling people, are fantastic. So I do think that's a great idea. And then there's different PR companies online like Scion, and you know, there's Help a Reporter Out, HARO. You start writing articles. You know, I feel like when you get to know different journalists and editors, and sometimes you can have control over what you're writing. If you have articles all ready to go and they like them, a lot of times they'll publish them as they are. So Dee was talking about having control in the media. And
also, I want to mention that, have you ever thought about doing styling for like a bunch of startups? You know, there's a lot of accelerator and incubator people like me, a bunch of founder network that they really need when they go, like for me, I struggle to go on in front of pitching, like pitching event, pitching in front of investors, and you need to dress and look a certain way. So there's a lot of incubator in New York. Pretty much, you can go there and give them like a 30-minute, you know, talk webinar, and I think you get tons of clients. Like, could you dress me up? I need to pitch. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you dress and influence, you know, if you're styling for a major influencer who has millions of followers, I'm not sure.
That's the perfect match.
Yeah,
right. But they charge you for that. Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna send them a package and do it for them, at least at first, show them how good you are, and you make their life easier, you know.
Great. I love all this advice, guys. Thank you so much.
Dale, I know you have you turn your models into digital avatars, right? You have the system to do that. So I'm wondering, is styling a part of that? I haven't seen it in action, so I don't really have a visual in my head about what it is.
It absolutely can be. We create the raw avatars, and that is, you know, your body in 3D, and when you take it a step further, it's the 3D artists who can make it look exactly like you, or they can make it generic looking. It depends what you want to do with the avatar. And they're definitely styling and creating mood boards and lookbooks on these avatars. So that could be a great opportunity for you, Jess, also, if you had all of your designers, you know, key outfits, or you can show one of your clients how they'll look in red, how they'll look in blue, how it'll fit them if it's compressed, it's flattering or not, or how long it is on them. They're going to be sitting down at a desk being interviewed. You don't want to go that short with that dress. You could try on the clothes before as well, because you might not be able to meet them all in person and have the clothes handy. So that could definitely save you time, at least, to narrow choices down and to visualize it. Everyone wants to see. So if you can visualize it digitally before you meet them and then just go in with your key pieces, we should definitely talk about that. There's so many opportunities. I'm sure O has some great solutions for you as well.
Well, there's a few stylist platform. I'm not sure whether you're aware of them. There's a couple of them that it's a startup where they have packages where people go on, and I think that now that they'll talk about it, this is a new channel for individual designer to actually, once they image their clothes in 3D and had a digital asset, they can actually work with stylists and directly dress your client with the clothes, and then you can kind of like play out different scenario digitally. And on top of that, you can have direct relationship off the runway. Like, for example, we go on D or CAT, digital runway. You can take off their own the clothing from the runway and directly have off the runway with your clients. And here's the unique piece, one of a kind. It would be tailored to you. Just give us the measurement, and the designer themselves could directly sell you the clothes. And then, as a stylist, should get the cut in between. You cut out the retailer. They're not coming back anyway. So so all of that is a real new digital channel for an individual stylist who's looking for, and plus your client, which is higher end, right? Yeah. They want unique pieces. Right, they don't want you to run to Bloomingdale's and buy something off the rack, and So it's a new way that Dale and I are working on that channel. It's a new channel, and I think that it's very exciting actually.
Jess, you had something to add? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dale.
I was going to say, Jess, if you want to invite your celebrity client or any of your clients to test it out and they're open to being scanned, we could have them scanned right here and you could try it out right now. And that could actually be something to promote.
I would completely have footage of that and create a video and post it 100%.
I think Urbana would go for that. Don't you think?
I think she would too.
Yeah.
Hey, Melissa.
Yeah.
One of the things that I do want to say is that, right now DCG has just for Fashion Mingle, we could do a 30-day express media tour. I could send that over to you, Melissa, and we could get you in at least 2 AM shows, maybe 3, and that can be part of your portfolio. So I will send that over to you, Melissa.
Okay. Well, that might be something we could, because we have the job portal launching in the next couple of weeks, and we're definitely going to want to get a lot of big promotion for that. So thank you for that. Let's for sure talk about it. I want to bring in Sharon because Sharon's been, Sharon has been a lawyer for, over 15 years, but she's actually been working the last couple of years on really branding herself, and she goes by Brand Law Mama on Instagram. And so I'd love to hear, Sharon, like, what are your, I know you do a lot of speaking engagements, so I know you've got to have some stuff for a media kit, but you don't have a media kit yet, do you?
No. Thanks for reminding me. I know, I was so.
Thanks for reminding me. Put it on your to-do list.
On the list. Yeah, no, I mean, these are such great tips because honestly, like you mentioned, I've done so many different interviews and print and publication. I've spoken at different events, and so all of this stuff hasn't been summarized somewhere, and there's nothing to show for it. And it's sort of like, if somebody were to ask me what you did, I'm like, okay, do you have like 10 minutes, because it's going to take so long. And obviously nobody has that time. So, putting it as Dee mentioned into part of your media kit and actually going through, putting in the time, which I haven't done yet, of course, I think it's going to take someone else to go over all of this material, especially just with the things that we've done on Mingle Mastermind. You know, I know that I could use a lot of that information and summarize it and put it together and repurpose that content instead of always, you know, doing new ones, which is super helpful for me. But yeah, it's absolutely important. And I just want to highlight one more thing about, you know, getting your, you know, and getting your kit together. And before you put anything out there, make sure you own it, you know the rights to it, and it's completely protected, because the last thing you want is, you know, to say something or to put something out there that you don't completely own or don't have the rights to. Now, you know, you're going to get backlash, and trust me, I've seen that happen. You know, people speaking out of their NDAs or with copyright issues, right? With writing articles for other companies, or you need to know what rights you have to publish them independent of, let's just say, like the publication that you submitted it to. So, you know, make sure you've got all of that done beforehand, that research on what you can speak about. And of course, if you've got a brand, make sure you protect it before you put it out there in the media, because as soon as it's popular, someone's going to take it, whether they take the domain, where they try to register the trademark. You know, there's so many people that are going to take advantage of your content and your stuff that you're putting out there. So make sure that you protect it. And yeah, I mean, I've definitely got to get with Dee to get more organized. I think that's something as a business we all have to do, is get more organized.
Yeah, that's come up with Fashion Mingle recently, because we're working with a consultant that's preparing us to go for our next investor. And, you know, like he's wants to get all our PR together. And I'm like, that stuff's all over the place. And so it's going to take me weeks to like claw back into folders and stuff. And, you know, and I even forget what we actually have. So, you know, we've all need to do a better job of like at least putting anything that, you know, could be used for PR in the future in a place where we can easily find it. Maybe Dee, I don't know, do you have any recommendations for us on how to manage our content?
I do. So what I do with my clients, because, you know, when we get new clients, sometimes they do need a media kit and we create that for them. So what I have them do is send me all their headshots, because sometimes they need a new headshot.
Okay.
I have them send me their bio on a Word doc. I have them send me any pictures of ever them speaking, any of their social media. We also get social media handles, because that needs to be part of your media kit. How many followers you have. And, you know, it's funny, a media kit doesn't need to be huge. It could be 2 to 3 pages. It just needs to be where people say, okay, they could speak, you know, they have a presence on social media, and it's engaging, right? So I think a media kit, if you present it well, and it doesn't need to be long. Some people have 10 pages. Some of us have done so much that we could have a 20-page media kit. Don't ever do that. I would say do a 2-page media kit.
Wow.
Headshot. You know, it's the way you arrange things, because people want to know who, what, where, and why should I book you. That's it. They don't care if you did something 10 years ago. They just want to know visually. It's all visually appealing. It's kind of like when we do sponsorship decks, right, Melissa?
Right.
A lot of people, you know, we'll have a 10-page sponsorship deck, but honestly, I noticed that people just read the first 2, what it is and how much is it. That's all they want to know. So I say don't go into like all this stuff. Just really, and here's what I would do too, if you can't afford somebody to make a media kit, look up media kits online. Like, for example, expert media kits, and you could get samples of what they look like, and that'll kind of give you a range of what yours should look like.
Yeah. And what I like to do with I like to build media kits in Google Slides.
Yes.
Instead of like using WordPress or something, because the layout in Google Slides, you would, you know, it's just better for backgrounds and keeping the text very simple and succinct. And then it's super easy to just like duplicate it and maybe change some things up for something specific.
Yeah, and you could also use Canva to create layouts and then download it and then insert it to the Google.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great, yeah, Canva is a great tool as well. Yeah. Okay, well, I think, did we get all our questions answered, and Jes, or do you have any more questions you'd like to have help with for Dee before you go out and start working on your PR campaigns?
Oh, you can go first.
So no, I mean the media kit, you actually send it out via email to your is that right? To your emailing list? Is that right?
I wouldn't, I would only send a media kit out for if you're pitching a certain, like you have a press release, your media kit, and if you're pitching to a certain article or, you know.
Okay, I see.
I wouldn't send it to everybody because it's a waste of time.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I have. Yeah.
Okay, and then Dee, let's end with, can you give us just like a really quick, how do we know, like how, if we want to start figuring out the media that we should approach, what's the easiest way for someone who's new to the world of media to figure out who their target media outlets are?
Okay, so I think now more than ever, because, you know, a lot of interviews now, Zoom is welcomed. Before it wasn't like that. So it's much easier, I think now, and a time saver, money saver to do something in Florida, LA, whatever, because before you had to fly, right? So now Zoom has been embraced. So I think it's easier now to get anywhere. But what I would say is know what your lane is. What are you good at? What are you good at? Some of us are good at talking about many things, right? But you have to narrow it down. You got to know what are the topics you could cover. What is your lane? What do you want to talk about? Then create topics and pitches, and then look for morning shows, magazines that cover that, right? That most magazines cover lifestyle, and a lot of magazines now are digital, which is great. So I would always, you know, go online, look at magazines and figure out who those emails are that you need to send to, or do it on LinkedIn and come up with some, you know, I always say come up with creative ways to pitch your topics, because not every topic has been covered, right? And there are things that have been done, you know, have been done already. So you want to make sure that you are covering things that maybe, you know, okay, this hasn't been covered, or I don't see this being covered. That's what I always do with, you know, I always have to watch the news. I always have to watch morning shows. Why? Because I got to know who's covering what, why are they covering it, and then come up with topics. So, and sometimes I get good ideas just by watching a morning or news. I'll be like, oh, wait a minute, they didn't cover this topic. Maybe I could have so-and-so talk about this. But that's how I would do your research. And then if you need a PR person like me, again, I'm going to give Melissa the 30-day Media Tour Express, where
we can document our success and progress.
And, you know, it'll give you at least 2 morning shows. And obviously it comes with me preparing you. We'll talk about wardrobe, media points, media training. Like, it's a 30-day express PR tour.
That's awesome. Well, I've known enough people in the PR industry to know that it takes a long time to build up those relationships. And so, you know, you can certainly start yourself, you know, trying to build this on your own. But if you want to have it happen like within 10 years, you should contact Dee.
You want it to happen within a month or 2, contact.
Right. I mean,
if you want it to, if you want to do this, you can. It's just gonna take a lot.
It is a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say that, you know, one thing that if you were asked to me as an entrepreneur, I would say that you should start, you know, the PR stuff early. It affects everything. Yeah. And that was the mistake was I've thought engineers rule the world, and we started there. But I think that things are changing, and I think that any PR you got along the way, you have to build up, and with the right advice.
Right.
It's really important. Do it yourself doesn't really work in this case.
Yeah, it is a challenge. And I mean, I have a experience in this area, and I have a really hard time even trying to pull it off for Fashion Mingle, because like I'm working on what I'm an expert at, which is not PR. So I don't have time to do the time you need to put into PR and build those relationships. So I'm excited, Dee, about your 30-day Express Media Tour. I definitely want to learn more about this. And I think that, please reach out to Dee if you'd like to learn more about this, because I think this is a great entry level way of just like getting something going for PR. It sounds like Dee can really knock it out for you.
Thank you, Melissa. And guys, now is the time, because people are looking for new experts. I think now it's the time for anything, because people are looking for new information, new topics, new experts. Now is the time, people. Trust me, do it now.
Yeah. Okay. So to reach out to Dee, you can, Dee, you've got your email. So Dee just put her email in the chat, and reach out to her directly if you'd like to know more about the 30-day Express Media Tour.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
All the expertise, Dee, and thank you to Jes and O for being our guinea pigs.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well,
Anytime.
anytime.
Okay, bye. Have a great
Bye.
weekend.